We're learning more details about the people involved in last month's deadly Capitol attack. Rioters from across the country stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Roughly 200 175 people are now facing charges for their actions, and we are learning more about them through a new study that looks at the people who were arrested, and what the data revealed may surprise you. Robert Pape is the principal investigator on that study, and he joins me now. He's a political science professor at the University of Chicago and part of the Chicago Project on Security and Threats. Professor Pape, thanks for being here. Based on your research, what are the demographics of the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, and how do they differ from previous right-wing extremists?
Lana, if we're going to prevent future incidents like January 6th, we need to know much more about who stormed the Capitol. And so with a large research team at the University of Chicago, we have analyzed all 244 individuals who have been arrested for storming the Capitol, those inside the Capitol. There were about 800 who did that. So this is over 25%, so quite a large sample. And we found some striking findings. First, if we just look at their age, 2/3 of the individuals are over the age of 34, when most right-wing extremist groups like the Proud Boys, their ages, 2/3 of them are under the age of 34. Even more striking, we found that only 13% of the 244 are members of organized militant groups like the Proud Boys. 87% are not. That is really an important finding because it means right away we can't reduce this to simply a problem of the Proud Boys and groups like the Proud Boys who were pre-existing militant groups. Perhaps
were you surprised? Sorry, Professor Pape.
Oh, sure, Lana.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask, given what you were expecting to find, was this a surprise for you that that the majority of them were not actually affiliated with any of these right-wing militia groups?
It was the degree to which they are not was a surprise. So in any study that you do, and I've been doing such studies of political violence for 30 years, you find small surprises. Things are a little different from one event to another, one country to another. The degree to which the violence here was perpetrated, those who stormed the Capitol, 87% of those who stormed the Capitol were not members of organized militant groups. Yes, that was a surprise. And there's more. The next surprise was that 13% are business owners. 27% are white collar, from white collar occupations, in addition to the business owners. That is, 40% are not the image we normally have of the skinhead member of a right-wing militant group. And those, what we normally find is, say, 25%, 30% of such perpetrators unemployed. Here in the Capitol Hill, 9% are unemployed. This is really a very different picture. And then perhaps most important of all, nearly 60% of the Capitol Hill insurrectionists live in counties that Biden won. They're not coming from the reddest part of America. They're coming from parts that are the bluest part. Now, how can that be, since they are, of course, Trump supporters? It's because in a county like Dallas, which goes overwhelmingly for Biden, 65%, that means there's still 35%, or in Dallas County, that's over 300,000 votes for Trump. Well, Dallas County sent 4 insurrectionists, one of the largest just from one county. So what that is telling us is that we're seeing something very different than the usual suspects. What we're seeing is a new mass movement with violence at its core. It is a core political movement, because this was storming the Capitol not just to, do vandalism on a building, but to stop the most important constitutionally mandated process in our country, which is the certification of the next president. And we need to do much more work, Lana, to understand this new mass movement, because you can see right away that there are some big differences between what you might expect and what the reality really looks like.
I think that's exactly it. People listening at home, and for myself, it's surprising to hear that the vast majority of the people who have at least been arrested are gainfully employed, that they come from areas more often than not that President Biden actually won in the last election. And you said that this is part of a broader political movement. I think your words were with violence at the core. So given how surprising all of this is to you, what does this tell you about where we as a society need to be paying attention?
Well, what this tells me more than anything else is that what happened on January 6th shouldn't be reduced to a tactical intelligence failure of somebody didn't get one email. This is overwhelmingly a failure of understanding. It's a failure of not understanding where the social, economic, and political environment that is leading to individuals to become insurrectionists at the Capitol. So what does that mean for the future? That means we've got to resist pat solutions. So yes, I think it's definitely important to arrest people who stormed the Capitol, but we can't think that if only we just grab every Proud Boy, we've solved the problem. That's not the case. Our usual solutions for things like right-wing violence are let's give them jobs, or let's wait for them to grow up. Well, if they're in their mid-40s with jobs and they're doctors, lawyers, and accountants, that's probably not, those are not going to work. So what we need is to see that we've already made, Lana, some very important strides in understanding. We know quite a bit now about what's going on compared to what we might just guess is going on. The next step is to thicken that understanding still more by understanding better the social, political, economic, and other environments here that's leading to the insurrectionists. And that's what we're committed to at the University of Chicago Project on Security and Threats. So this first round of research has only spurred us on to do more.
Yes, I think it's so helpful to actually know the truth as opposed to speculation about who were these people at the Capitol, but to have greater understanding of who they were and what propelled them. Robert Pape, thank you.
Thank you, Lana. Thank you for having me.